Thunder. Now that wasn't in the forecast right there. Alrighty, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Another video, but we're mixing it up today. It's been a while since I've done a video like this, and not necessarily a challenge video, but kind of a personal challenge video, I guess you could say. But big baits only, big stuff only, depending on how you define a big bait. Today, we're going to Lake Berryessa. You know, it's a place that I frequent a lot, and I feel like I know what I have to do to get bit there, especially if the bite gets tough. You know, you got your standard drop shot, jig, finesse stuff. Because we're heading there, and because I've kind of gotten into this comfort zone of baits and presentations at Lake Berryessa, that's the reason I'm doing this video or this challenge, is to get outside the comfort zone, try some things that I normally wouldn't try, maybe learn a thing or two, maybe get comfortable with one of these techniques, essentially force myself to throw the bigger stuff all day long, no matter what the conditions, no matter how hard it gets. Won't even have a drop shot rod or bait or anything finessey in the boat with me. So let's get right into it. We rigged up 6 rods this morning. Like I said, big stuff. Some of it we've thrown, some of it not so much. But first bait we've got on deck is a Toxic Baits whippersnapper, big old bluegill wake bait in the bone color. Second bait, and definitely the biggest of all baits today, we've got the infamous Depths 250 in rainbow trout. I've thrown this a handful of times. I've never committed a full day to it, but I've had followers, so bringing that in rotation. Our third bait, maybe not traditionally a big bait, but something that I wouldn't really throw at Berryessa. Actually, I don't think I've thrown it at Berryessa hardly ever. It's our buzz bait. Bobby D quad buzz bait with the clacker. We got a little speed toad on the back. Number 4, we've got a big old Berkeley cane walker in the bone color. Of course, it's the big size 125, so a big old topwater. Our 5th rod is a Chapo. Again, biggest Chapo I own. And again, this is a bait I've used at Berryessa, but not the 120. I'm a size 90 guy pretty much day in and day out, so no 90s with me, just the 120. And our last bait, again, something that I consider a bigger style bait. We have thrown this at Berryessa, but I figured it had to be included in the challenge. It's just a big old A-rig. So those are the 6 rods. We'll see. We've had a cold front come through California. It's been like really windy, really chilly. Only a high of 60 today, but that's the beauty of this challenge. Even with these conditions, and maybe it'll be tough, I literally cannot go to finesse. I have to throw all these baits. So that's the video today, kind of a big bait challenge, so to speak. I think it'll be fun. I'm hoping that we can get on some fish with at least one of these baits, one of these techniques. I'm gonna get the boat loaded up. We're gonna make the drive to Lake Berryessa, and we'll see what happens. Look at all this bait. Holy smokes. See it flicking up over there. Holy heck. Look at all this bait. Haven't even left the marina yet. I'm not seeing anything blow up on it. I'm not seeing any streaks through the graph. Well, lots of bait right here. Might as well start. Work our way out and see what happens. Let's get started with a whippersnapper. Been really excited to throw this bait. Silly me, better get the net ready, right? Man. Say this, I'm definitely dressed a little too light. I got a rain jacket in the trunk, but it is cold right now with this wind. Definitely a puffy jacket kind of morning. see that? Oh, when you least expect it, right? Oh, that was so sick. I'm pretty sure that's a big old smallmouth that jumped on that. What the heck? That was up in like 2 foot of water. All right. That's cool. There's a stump right there. I think that smallmouth was hanging out under that stump. All right, that's the confidence I needed though. Figured if we got one bite on this, that'd be a really good sign. Never know still, but I don't think it hurts. Little whippersnapper. AKA, if you guys have been following the channel for a couple of years now, this is what Mike, our buddy Mike, dubbed the SpongeBob Squarebill, and won a tournament by a large margin at Lake McClure in July when it was like 100 degrees out. Everybody was drop shotting, catching rat after rat after rat, and Mike was throwing this bait with some topwater mixed in and just was getting the big ones to come up and eat. Kind of the nice thing about having these 6 different baits we have today is really situational for me, you know? More or less, it's not like I'm taking one and just blind casting it all over the place. There's certain areas that I know we'll run into, whether it be rocky bank or grass flats, where, you know, maybe the rocky bank will throw the whippersnapper. If we run into a grass flat, we'll throw some top water over it. I see some cleaner, clearer water, like right here. We can get out a glide. So yeah, I mean, just a lot of situational baits in the lineup today, which I think will probably give us a better chance of actually getting bit compared to, you know, just taking like 1 or 2 baits and hucking them all day just randomly. God, that's a monster of a bait though. Oh! Oh my God. These fish know when I'm not paying attention, I swear to God. Little spot just came up and tried to smoke this thing. Well, I guess even the little ones want this too, are willing to take a swipe. Oh God. Oh, I had him. I had him. No. Oh, 3 bites on the whippersnapper. I think we got to keep going with it. That's the second of the 3 that was as soon as this dude hit the water. Man. I mean, this is definitely a big bait. I'm throwing this on 7/6 heavy rod. I mean, this is a thick, chunky bait, so I'm sure the dinks will bite it, but I think probably it'll be hard to hook the smaller fish. Gotta have a big old bucket mouth to eat this thing. Wow, you guys see that? Had a little spot follow it right up. They're interested. I have no clue, but I would guess that these fish don't see this kind of bait a whole ton. Maybe that's what's intriguing them. Oh, God. That one didn't eat it. It just kind of tried to nab it. Decent little spot. Man, oh man, oh man. Man, not a single bite on any other bait. Keep going with the whipper. Oh, golly. I think it's my rod. I think this is the wrong rod. Any of you guys out there know? Probably the wrong rod, right? A flipping stick for this? Probably not the right rod. It's kind of what I had though on hand, so. At least I got a hook in that one. Oh my God. Wow. Well, first whippersnapper fish. Well, I did not think that'd be our first whippersnapper fish, but it's a fish. Maybe that was our problem too. Some of those bites were really small ones. Got some ominous looking clouds over there. I know there was a small chance we were gonna get rained on today. What's going on here? 25% chance. Oh man, there's a spot hiding right in that crack. That was a good spot too. It's exactly where we want him to set up. Ambush this little fella. Alright, let's see what we got here. Oh, finally had a blow up. Wouldn't you know, I wasn't looking either. Maybe I should just not pay attention to my bait. It seems to be my best chance of getting bit. Oh! Oh! Big old spot. Oh, golly. All right, well, now we got to go with a cane walker for a little bit. There we go. Oh, gosh, that's such a fun bite. Let's just net him. Finally. I knew we'd have to eventually get a taker. Alrighty, little chunker. A little better than the first one. Whew. See, they're supposed to get hooked. When they hit a bait with 3 trebles on it, like, they're supposed to get hooked. I don't know how they miss it so many times. It's like, how do you not get a hook in you somewhere? Holy smokes. The weather is changing before our eyes. Hopefully the rain clouds miss us. What's going on? Come on. Give me some service. Ah, boy, I think I should put the rain jacket on. Good chance I'm gonna get rained on. What? Thunder? No, that wasn't in the forecast right there. Oh my God, I gotta get back to the ramp. It's getting sketchy out here. Catwalking. Woohoo! Oh, fantastic. At least we're almost there. Well, 1 o'clock. Definitely not what we were expecting today. As far as the weather goes, I mean, kind of hit or miss right now. I'm looking at the radar, kind of all over the place. 50-60% chance of rain every hour up until 5 o'clock. You know what? We're just gonna call it a day. One thing I've learned, and something I'll probably do for the rest of my life while I fish, is better safe than sorry. Per usual, did the homework, looked at the weather forecast, wind specifically. Rarely, if at all, storms out here in California, but did see a little chance of rain this morning, and yeah, as it happens sometimes, the weather isn't completely accurate, and it got bad out here. Got bad quick. The wind picked up. We had a few storm clouds roll over us. There was some lightning in the distance. Really, the thunder and lightning, that's the kicker for me. When I hear that stuff, when I know it's nearby, when I can see it on the radar, and being that far from the ramp today with little to no cell service, just not a good combination of things. And probably nothing will happen, but it's a chance, it's a risk you may or may not take, and it's one that I will not take. As cheesy as it sounds, I'd rather fish less today so I can fish more another day. I did have one close call a couple summers ago on the California Delta, that crazy lightning storm that really sparked a ton of the forest fires around here in Northern California that year. But crazy lightning storm in the Delta, getting off the water, taking shelter under some really kind folks' patio, seeing and hearing about 50 yards to my left where I would have been fishing if I decided to continue to fish during the tournament. A lightning strike right in that area. Plastic boat, bunch of rods sticking up. I don't know. That could have been a very bad situation. Anyways, let's review the day. We had our 6 rods, like I mentioned this morning. Got some bites on the whippersnapper, and I'm sure I'll get the comments, and I appreciate the comments because I am curious, but I think the rod I was using probably a little bit too much for that particular bait. Had a 7/6 heavy rod, basically a flipping stick, but we were getting some bites. I don't think they're huge bites, and I think they're probably some smallmouth or spotted bass, not big old largemouth like we were hoping. We weren't hooking up. We weren't staying pegged. We did mix it up a little bit. We threw some other stuff like Chapo, the buzzbait. Just didn't really seem like they wanted something moving. But then we went into some cleaner water, saw a few fish blowing up, busting some baits. So we picked up big top water bait, walking, chugging bait. Called up a few fish. One came up for it twice. Kept going with it, kept going with it. Finally got one to bite, to commit, hooked up, and that was kind of it. About 10 minutes later, that's when the weather turned around and got sketchy. Like within a minute, the wind picked up, the clouds started moving in. We heard the thunder in the distance, checked the radar, wasn't looking good, so we made the call. Let's head in. Call it a day. You know, but overall, a fun day. Again, the purpose of this day's fishing was to try baits that I wouldn't traditionally try out on Lake Berryessa. And there were plenty of times today I saw fish where it got a little tough, or I didn't get a bite in a while, that I would have been very tempted to pick up something finessey, something that I'm comfortable with. But of course, with this challenge and this kind of goal of today, you're not allowed to do that. I couldn't, because I didn't bring anything like that. So we had to go with the bigger stuff all day, and it was cool. It was fun. Kind of a nice way to get some confidence with some new baits, such as the whippersnapper today and the bigger topwater. Another thing I'd recommend to folks out there, if you're interested in really trying to get better at a technique of bait, really only bring that stuff. Keep the stuff you're comfortable with at home, and really lock those baits in your hand. Let's end it there. As always, thank you guys for watching, for coming along, and I will catch you guys in the next video.